All right, I'll try to make this short and sweet. Kind of already explained it a little bit. Use your F22 B2 or B1 injectors. Swap two of the studs over. The F23 intake does not have a provision for a third stud. I'm using a JDM F23 fuel rail. It's also the same as the 98 Odyssey or 98 to 99 2.3 CL. Nice thing about it, it comes with a fuel pressure damper that the F22 B1 and B2 do not have. And then also it puts the fuel pressure regulator over on this side without having like some stupid vacuum hose crap. But you can use your B1, B2 fuel rail, studs, injectors. I like to route the wires in between the runners for number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. I got that backwards. That's 1 and 2. This is 3 and 4. And then there's a little plastic thing underneath the intake that you're going to have to take off because that like won't bolt to the bottom side of the F23 intake. I run the F23 PCV tube. F22 PCV, it's the same as the F23. F23 throttle cable bracket, and then you can purchase the F23 throttle cable for a 98, 99, 2.3 CL automatic because that's what needs to match the pedal. Throttle body, since you're automatic, you're going to have to reuse your F22 B1 throttle body. It has provision for the kickdown cable, and then also the cruise cable is a little bit different too because of that throttle body. So you'd have to reuse your cruise cable for your F22 B1. Let's see here. IAC. So for the idle air control valve, it's kind of hard to see because I don't have really good light in here. Let's see if I can turn on my light. There we go. With the plate on the bottom of the IAC, the nipples that stick out, they hit the TPS. So some people like to run a throttle body spacer to push it out far enough. I don't like doing that because it pushes the whole intake tube over too far and it hits a shock tower. So what I like to do is just take off the nipple plate, and then run the coolant from here to the fast settle thermal valve on the F22 B1 B2 throttle body. Out of that, then down to the coolant crossover tube. Then down to the coolant crossover tube. There's a little nipple on it where the coolant goes back into. I think it's a 3/8 inch line. Yeah, I think 3/8 rubber hose. Other than that, you have your hose for, this is cruise, this is fuel pressure regulator, the intake air temperature sensor, intake air temperature sensor is down here on this side of the intake rather than behind the IAC. So what you will need to do is like either run the air intake temperature sensor in the intake tube and it'll reach, or you can extend the lines or the wires to it and run it over on this side. It's whatever. Figure that out. It's 2 wires, super easy. Need about 12 inches of extension if you don't want to go into the harness and do that sort of stuff. Other than that, the F23 also had something called like FIA or something like that. There's 4 little tiny ports at the top of the intake flange that allow air in. Basically, it goes from the 3-wire IAC to solenoid out, to this guy. This feeds the air to this guy. So these two are connected. And this puts to the intake manifold, which then gets distributed against the head and in through those little holes, which feed to the injectors. You can just fill the holes with silicone. They're really small, little tiny, like 1 millimeter size holes. Just fill them with silicone, Honda Bond, whatever. Let it cure, then you can install the intake manifold. The coolant crossover pipe and everything fits just like normal. I always delete EGR because it's stupid. Other than that, yeah, I can't really think of anything else. If you have any other questions, just let me know. My car has VTEX now. See ya.